Welcome to Harbor Rock Wealth Management's Planning Tip of the Week. My name is Ruben Smith. Today we're going to elaborate on required minimum distributions. This was a topic that we recently discussed. One thing with required minimum distributions is you do have the ability to donate those distributions or those required amounts to a charity in lieu of reporting them as ordinary income. And you can do this through what's called a qualified charitable distribution, or a QCD. And essentially, the point of this is there are some clients that don't necessarily want to recognize the taxable income. Maybe that'll put them into a higher tax bracket. Maybe they don't necessarily need the funds, and in exchange, they would rather help out or support a cause or a local organization or not-for-profit that they would rather support. So there are some positive benefits to this. However, there are some restrictions that apply too. So one of them is you have to be of RMD age, so age 70 and a half or above, or depending on when you are subject to beginning your required minimum distributions. The other is that the contributions must be taken directly from the IRA and sent or transferred directly to the organization or the 501c3. The reason being is that the trustee of your trust, or custodian of your IRA, will report the distribution as a taxable event. So you need to make sure that you have physical receipt from the organization that you've contributed to, and those two numbers match up with your 1099-R at the end of the year. Otherwise, it will not qualify as a non-taxable event for you. So any tax questions or further inquiries from a tax standpoint, I highly recommend you reach out to your tax advisor or CPA. And they can discuss the amounts and whether or not you qualify, and based off the organization. Okay. The other qualification is that you can't, which doesn't seem to be a big issue, but you can't contribute more than $100,000 a year, and in order to do so, you would have to have a required minimum distribution of $100,000. So I've seen some pretty high ones out there, and only a handful where they would be able to cap out. So for most of our clients, or for most people, that's attainable, or that's not an issue. That $100,000 figure does apply to per individual. So technically, a married couple could have a $200,000 qualified charitable distribution from their IRAs each year. Okay. A couple of the other talking points is that you cannot, or key points here, is that you cannot use non-deductible contributions. We use non-deductible contributions a lot with our clients, and this will not apply. So it has to be qualified holdings, meaning qualified for taxes or taxable upon distribution in order to qualify. Again, the organization needs to be a 501c3. There are a few organizations that may not qualify, specifically private foundations and sometimes supporting organizations, whether maybe they're supporting public charities. You can't make contributions directly to them. It's best to make those contributions directly to a qualified organization, and that organization must be able to receive tax-deductible contributions. Most 501c3s, that's not an issue. IRA, probably best to work with your CPA and making sure that the organization you're going to be transferring these funds to is going to work out in your favor from a deduction standpoint. You are not required to itemize your deductions with these either. Again, another question for your CPA and to run the scenarios through. But there was a bit of confusion around that when these first came out. The other point that I wanted to make is that if you take a larger distribution from your IRA and contribute it, meaning more than what your required minimum distribution is, and make that contribution to the charitable organization, you will not be allowed to carry forward any excess to future years. Okay, so it's really meant for you to only take the required minimum distribution amount and not anymore to transfer that to the charities. Okay, so there's a few moving parts here. This is becoming more and more popular with our clients, and I think a great way to not only support organizations that you believe in and that you want to help out, but also a way for you to minimize your tax bracket or lower your tax implications each year as you're in retirement. So any questions pertaining to this, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are open to suggestions. That's actually exactly where this episode is coming from. So thank you. You know who you are, who offered this suggestion. But yeah, this topic or any other topics like this, we are completely open to addressing them for you. We appreciate you tuning in and look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.